Fox 10 News alert, another wildfire is burning in Southern California, prompting some 20,000 evacuations right now. It's being called the Hughes Fire. It's burning off Lake Hughes Road near I-5 in the community of Castaic Lake there in northwestern Los Angeles County. CAL FIRE says it's grown now to more than 8,000 acres. It was just 5,000 an hour ago, so it's rapidly spreading. Interstate 5 again through the Grapevine is closed. Evacuations ordered for areas near Lake Castaic, including an elementary school and a high school.
Yeah, this is another tough blow to California, which has already been devastated by wildfires. Another windy day prompting a red flag warning for the LA area. KTTV's Matt Seedorf shows us how quickly this fire has spread.
Yeah, fortunately, it's mostly just a vegetation area. The lake to our right is playing very solid defense, but as you said, this fire is just ripping and roaring up this hill. We've been able to hear it. You can feel the heat, and it's spreading rapidly. And I just want to peek up over this hillside, if you don't mind, here real quick. And yeah, it's all vegetation on the other side of this hill, which is good news. And we can see law enforcement up here watching it closely. But man, the wind, the gusts that we're getting out here are fairly significant. I would estimate probably 30-40 mile per hour wind gust, especially as the flame gets closer. And you can almost see it take the flames and just continue to push it. And yeah, now we're seeing some thick black smoke over here. It looks like a tree is lighting on fire on the other end of this parking lot.
Matt Seedorf reporting there. Stay with Fox 10 tonight for continuing coverage of the wildfires burning in Southern California, including this latest fire here, the Hughes Fire that's burning right now. We'll have the latest updates here on Fox 10. You can also head to our website, fox10phoenix.com.
We've got another news alert. Police investigating a deadly shooting inside a Tennessee high school today. Investigators say a 17-year-old armed with a pistol fired multiple shots inside the Antioch school cafeteria. 2 students were shot. One of those students, a female, later died from her injuries. The other student, a male, was grazed and taken to the hospital, should be okay. Investigators say after the shooting, the gunman then shot and killed himself.
A mass deportation effort is underway just 2 days after President Trump took office. His new border czar, Tom Homan, announced yesterday that ICE teams have started arresting non-citizens. He says these people are, quote, public safety threats, and in the country illegally. They've been convicted and arrested for serious crimes.
Federal immigration authorities will now be permitted to make arrests if they so choose in churches and schools where people here illegally may be trying to take safe harbor.
The new administrative directive rolls back a stance from the Biden administration. Fox 10's Lauren Clark joins us now to share how this is garnering both praise and some criticism.
Good afternoon, guys. Yeah, a lot of emotions on both sides here. Pro-immigration advocates fear that this could create fears for even legal immigrants to go in places like churches or schools. Meanwhile, the Trump administration stresses that this is specifically directed towards serious criminals, and also say that they trust law enforcement to do the right thing when implementing these new guidelines.
The order rescinds the Biden administration's directive for the agency, prohibiting federal immigration authorities from arresting suspected undocumented immigrants in sensitive areas like churches, schools, weddings, or funerals. It's a stance Arizona Democratic State Senator Annalise Ortiz believes is misguided and harmful.
This will lead to families being separated.
But the Trump administration said the policy is designed to target those with dangerous criminal histories and believes law enforcement will act wisely and professionally with these new guidelines. The Department of Homeland Security described the move in a statement, writing, "This action empowers the brave men and women in CBP and ICE to enforce our immigration laws and catch criminal aliens, including murderers and rapists who have illegally come into our country. Criminals will no longer be able to hide in America's schools and churches to avoid arrest. The Trump administration will not tie the hands of our brave law enforcement, and it said trust them to use common sense."
I really want to stress here that the Trump administration continues to say that this is about criminals, but that's just not how this is going to play out in practicality. We have seen this in the past when they conduct these raids. They sweep up anyone who is available.
Yet several Republicans praised the move, pointing to the unprecedented number of border crossings in the past few years. The issue of immigration was a top one for voters and one President Trump campaigned strongly on towards a victory. But how schools and churches will comply is still unclear. In a letter to parents and families, Phoenix Union High School District wrote in part, "At Phoenix Union, we welcome all students who come through our doors and continue to offer every student a high-quality education without asking for immigration status." Republican State Superintendent Tom Horn is also unsure why ICE authorities should be in schools.
They're starting out going after criminals. Criminals are not kids in school. And even if they extend it to people who are not criminals, they would be going after the adults. It wouldn't do them any good to go after the kids. So I don't think they're going to come into the schools.
And the Mesa School District also put out a statement saying, in part, quote, "Our schools are caring and safe places and welcome to all learners." We have that full statement available on our website. That's fox10phoenix.com. Reporting live here in Phoenix, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
Convicted killer Lori Vaile is asking a judge to throw out her murder conspiracy case in Arizona.
The so-called doomsday mom recently filed a motion to dismiss charges citing a lack of a speedy trial. She is lawyering for herself. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum joins us live with her arguments as the trial is just 2 months away. So as she acts as her own lawyer, you've got to expect there will be missteps, right?
Well, that is what we're all waiting to see. How is she going to handle this, as she is not really a lawyer, although representing herself. John, Christine, of course, this was very interesting to read. Another handwritten motion by Lori Vaile Daybell from the Estrella jail filed about a week ago. She says she has been in jail for more than 300 days and that the state had 5 years to figure this all out. But as we know, it's been a bit more complex than that. Lori Vaile Daybell is set to stand trial on March 31st, accused of conspiring in the murder of her fourth husband, Charles Vaile. He was shot and killed by Lori's late brother, Alex Cox, in July of 2019. Cox claimed self-defense after an alleged fight. Now Lori has filed a motion to dismiss, saying she never waived her right for a speedy trial. And what do you make of Lori Vaile Daybell's motion?
She actually did a pretty good job of writing the motion. She was concise. She cited the law.
Russ Richelsoff is a defense attorney with no association to Vaile Daybell's case. She did make an error, saying she was extradited from Idaho to Arizona in November 2025, when it was actually 2023. She cites her former defender's motions to move the trial back and a competency evaluation as delays she never asked for. Vaile Daybell also says Judge Justin Boreski never set a trial date for her second case, charged for conspiring in the attempted murder of her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. Richelsoff says those two motions that were granted shouldn't count against the 270-day window for a speedy trial.
I suspect that the judge will set a trial date on the second case, but I expect the judge will deny her motion.
Vaile Daybell argues that prosecutors, quote, had 5 years to figure this out, but does not mention she was in Idaho's custody for 3 of those years. Ultimately sentenced to life in prison for killing her 2 children, JJ and Tylee, and conspiring in the murder of her husband's first wife, Tammy Daybell. Lori's husband, Chad Daybell, was sentenced to death for the same crimes, motivated by money and end-of-the-world prophecies. Now, the doomsday mom represents herself against similar allegations in her next trial, a rare situation in criminal cases.
Usually, it's, to be polite, it's a train wreck, because what happens is the defendant knows the questions that they want to ask, but they don't know how to put the questions together in a way which are allowed by the rules of evidence.
And with this motion, Vaile Daybell has asked for an evidentiary hearing to discuss this. We'll keep you updated on those future proceedings. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum.